Hello everyone, so I will be doing my March wrap up for the month of March. I read 4 books, so let's get started. The first book I read in March was Hunting Prince Dracula by Carrie Maniscalco. This is a historical fiction young adult mystery novel. This is the second book in the series following Audrey Rose Wadsworth and Thomas Cresswell. This time they journey to Romania to attend one of the best schools for forensic medicine. So when murders start to occur, the townspeople think that Prince Dracula has risen. Audrey, Rose, and Thomas then try to discover what is really going on. I just love the character Audrey Rose. She is so strong and intelligent. When she got to the school, the headmaster just kept belittling her any chance he got. He thought the proper place for a woman is at home and instead of the laboratory. But she did not let this get to her. She knew what she wanted. She basically just took his abuse because there was nothing she could do. She wanted to attend this school. It just made her determined to succeed. And I really like that because, especially at this time period, a lot of women didn't pursue what they really wanted. They just stayed home. This is one of the few YA books that I didn't mind the romance. Audrey Rose even said that she would not sacrifice herself or her goals, not even for Thomas. And I just loved that. Even though she had feelings for Thomas, she was still very independent. The other great part of this is how supportive Thomas is. He wants her to continue with her dreams. He doesn't come between them. He encourages it, and I think that is awesome. Besides the characters, I really loved the time period of it. It's very gothic and I enjoyed that. The second book I read was The Color Purple by Alice Walker. This book satisfied my "oh no they didn't" reading challenge for the month of March, which was to pick a female author who is considered to be influential and who has had a significant impact on literature, culture, and/or society. In an article about the 20 most influential female authors, they stated, Alice Walker holds the title of the first African American woman to win a Pulitzer Prize for fiction. Walker's writing career and personal life has mostly centered on race and gender inequality. Her written work and political involvement have made her a respected figure among African Americans and female readers around the world. The Color Purple is a classic historical fiction novel. It is set in the South between the wars. It follows the life of Celie, a young African American who was born in poverty and segregation. In the beginning, she is a young woman with an abusive father. Then it shows her getting married to an abusive man, and finally, in the end, her taking charge of her own destiny. This is a devastatingly beautiful book that I highly recommend. It is a heartbreaking book, but it does leave you with hope. It is very powerful. It deals with racism, sexism, abuse, and poverty. It is a very important book that everyone should read. The third book I read is Eliza and Her Monsters by Francesca Zappia. This is a young adult contemporary novel following Eliza Merck, who is the creator of a very popular web comic series called Monstrous Seas. She writes this anonymously. At school, she is very shy and no one really knows her, but online, she has many friends, and that's really where she thrives. When a new student, Wallace, arrives, he is a very popular fan fiction for Monstrous Seas, and they start to have a relationship, but he still doesn't know who she is. When her secret comes out, her life kind of falls apart. I really enjoyed this book. I gave it a 4-star rating on Goodreads. Not only is it a cute teenage romance, but it deals with mental illness such as anxiety and depression. It made anxiety seem very normal, and it showed that there is nothing wrong with someone who has a mental illness. You shouldn't be ashamed. It showed that even though someone might suffer from anxiety, so they have difficulties in one aspect of their life, that doesn't mean that they're not capable of accomplishing great things. I loved that it showed that things aren't always as they seem. Eliza might seem like she has a great life, a loving family, and a popular webcomics, but that doesn't mean that she can't also be suffering. I also loved that they showed that there are many reasons someone might have a mental illness. Like it might be chemical, like Eliza, who's had anxiety since she was very young, or it might be situational, like Wallace, who didn't start to develop anxiety until his father died. At first, I was so annoyed with Eliza and her interaction with her family. I thought she was acting like a brat, but the more you read, the more you see that they are both in the wrong. Her family keeps pressuring her to do things that she doesn't want to do, and Eliza keeps pushing them away. But you see that her family are so supportive of the brothers because they do traditional activities that the parents understand, while they don't take the opportunity to really look into Eliza and her webcomics and see why it is so important to her. But then Eliza doesn't really explain to her parents why her webcomics is so important to her, so she just kind of pushes them away. But I loved that when things went bad for Eliza, her parents started to understand her better. They took the time to understand and really changed to what Eliza needed. And in turn, Eliza started to open up more to her parents and started interacting more with them, and I thought that was beautiful. The last book I read is Batman Nightwalker by Marie Lu. It is a young adult fantasy novel. This follows Bruce Wayne. I'm Batman. When he is 18 years old, he ends up having to do community service at Arkham Asylum, where he meets Madeline, who is involved with the Nightwalker, who is an infamous leader to all these crime sprees. And so Bruce Wayne kind of gets involved with the case. I gave this a 3.5-star rating on Goodreads. I did enjoy it. I really liked how they brought aspects of the comics into the story while also creating something new. However, it didn't start to pick up until half the book. That's when like action started really happening. Before it was just kind of like a build-up. And the book is kind of short, and so I wish it was kind of longer so it would have been able to be fleshed out more. So those are all the books I read in the month of March. Like and subscribe, and I'll see y'all later. Bye!